Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Milo.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Now, you're a special guest today because we're going to talk about veganism. And you've been into veganism 10 years.
Yes.
Now, I have to say, she's a really good cook, vegan cook. And you kind of influenced me to go more and more vegan. And not just because of your good food, but also many other reasons. And today we're going to talk a little bit about spirituality and veganism, how it intersects. And I remember that you once told me that you believe that as a being is more conscious, that it's more congruent to be vegan. So I would like to, if you could talk a little bit about how you see spirituality being conscious and vegan and what brought you to veganism, etc.
Okay.
Okay.
So, um, so I'll tell you a little story. So
Oh, yeah.
I was the moment that really made me go vegan was when I was in a pig farm. I was visiting a pig farm with my class because I studied wildlife management, and we were learning how to manage domesticated animals. And so we went to the pig farm, and I made eye contact with a female sow that was in a gestation crate. So they basically don't get to see the light of day for 5 months. They're in there. Actually, I think they never really get to see the light of day. Either they're in the concrete house or they're in this tiny little cage, basically, their entire existence. And I remember making eye contact with her. She was directly looking me into the eyes, and her consciousness in her eyes was like piercing the layers of programming, and it really hit something deep inside of me where I realized, oh my God, she's conscious, and she knows that this is wrong, and she knows that I'm doing this to her. And all of that was conveyed in that eye contact. And after that, I was like, half of the class, we were crying, because most of us were like, this is wrong. It doesn't feel good. And so that led me on my path to awakening to going vegan, basically, because I've always loved animals. Like, I grew up loving animals. And so for me, dogs and cats were my brothers and sisters. I grew up with them. Like, yeah, like I knew they were all individuals and they all could feel pain and suffering and fear and joy. Like I saw myself in dogs and cats. Like I could, I could humanize them in some way. And so I just realized that I'm totally disconnecting all the other animals that I'm eating from that group, but it's the same. And so if you can recognize that other beings are connected to consciousness, to the one big soul, right? The one, love that we are ultimately, then the way my brain worked and made the connection to spirituality is like, I don't want to hurt myself. Like I want to go through life as conscious as possible, like not hurting other humans, right? If you wake up to yourself, you realize that you can understand other people as well better. You're like, oh, ich kann mich in die hereinversetzen. So I can put myself into their shoes.
Yeah.
And it's the same with animals, So I just extended my love that I already had to other animals, just to to cows and pigs and chickens and all animals, all beings, and all plants. But you
Yeah.
got to eat something. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
we're still on this planet.
Well, thank you. I think the core of it is really understanding that literally when you look on other animals' eyes, you're looking at yourself, basically.
Yes.
That's the core of it, that everything is one.
Yeah,
And then why would you, like you say, why would you hurt yourself?
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the most profound realization, spiritual realization, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's really important, what you said, was the disconnect.
Hmm.
Because that's what, when you talked to me about it, made it very clear that by abstracting um, the death machine of, the killing machine of the industry,
Mm.
you're not just outsourcing it, you're abstracting it in the sense that you're like, I have nothing to do with it, which is not true.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
there can be several layers of that. So and the modern society is so abstracted that you feel like you have nothing to do with it. So it's almost like when young children nowadays, there's like, where did chickens even come from? That's so
Mm.
abstracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's kept separate from us for a reason.
Mm.
Like you'll never see really the industry. You're not allowed inside at all because they have like high security
Oh.
around it and everything because they
Oh.
know that, there's this whole saying like if slaughterhouses would have glass walls, the world would be vegan basically.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because it's an awareness thing.
And it has to do with responsibility, also. Like, are you taking accountability and responsibility for that outsourced, basically,
Yeah.
action? Yeah. And so for me, it was quite easy to start to make the switch. And
Mm.
I remember though that you said that in the very beginning you also had like a transition period, right?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, it took me, even being an animal lover and realizing,
Mm-hmm.
of course, then after this pig experience, I researched deeper and I
Mm-hmm.
watched some documentaries, and there's fantastic documentaries out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one I watched was Cowspiracy,
Mm-hmm.
and that just instantly was like,
Cowspiracy.
okay, I have to go vegan. Like if I want to align
Yeah.
my values of love, compassion, um, you know, with my actions, then I have to
Mm.
stop eating animals
Yeah.
because that's where a lot of the suffering is.
Mm.
So but then even with that, it still took me 1 year to
Mm.
like really phase out everything because I had a lot of fears around health,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very programmed, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we have to eat animals to be healthy, right? Like there's all these concerns around having to supplement a lot and not getting your protein and like all of this, silly stuff that's out there, just misinformation that's out there.
Yeah.
And so it affected me as well, of course.
And I think yesterday we watched Game Changers,
Yeah.
which is a documentary that I highly recommend, especially to guys who feel like they need to eat meat to get really strong.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a good friend of mine. She even says, and that's basically what was also in the documentary, that you get less inflammation and thereby faster recovery, if you're like a pro athlete. And I think
Mm.
that's super exciting. And there was a lot of also statistics they gave, where it was clear that what the benefits are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the health perspective, um, you know, it's an interesting one to navigate because even if there's like thousands of examples out there of
Yeah.
people doing veganism, and it's like it still is a process for yourself to prove to yourself, like, but does this work for me?
Yeah.
Right? Because you think that you're such a special being, and right, because we
Yeah.
all think, oh, but I'm such an individual and maybe these things will not work for me. And so there's, I think, in the health aspect there, it's a really long, it can be a long process of gaining trust
Mm-hmm.
in the diet, basically, that it works for you.
100%.
Yeah.
And since I switched, I already started doing a little bit of like bodybuilding, which I stopped for a while, and now I got back to it. But now I'm basically getting my protein through mostly beans and stuff like that, and also vegan protein shakes. And I was surprised, especially the last days, if you eat enough, then I can already start like the muscles filling up and becoming
That's exactly it.
yeah. So it's definitely not a question of whether it's doable. It is doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a guy and you want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, a question of time also, like, because it is a transition for your entire gut microbiome and your
Mm,
entire, right? So you have to, for me it took me a while to for my body to adjust to it, actually.
mm,
Like, energetically it was very quickly, but
mm.
like, I had bloating quite a bit at the beginning.
How long did you have to blow it?
I think even 6 months or something like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because for me it was quicker. It
For you, it
seems
was really quick,
yeah,
actually. Yeah.
super quick.
Yeah.
Um,
So a lot of people stop.
a week was bad for me, like really bad,
Yeah.
and then the next week it was super fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised.
But you went like full in. You did like all of the beans, like beans every day, just like.
You know also what is gonna I really want to add this to this podcast is that I read that almost all of the blue zones
Yeah.
they eat the beans.
Yeah.
And that's like a staple in their cuisine.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, beans are super healthy.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
So I definitely
For some people, it can help to do it slowly, right? So you just kind of went full in. But for some people, it can help just to literally do like a tablespoon of beans a day for a couple weeks, and then kind of, expand that, like, increase it gradually. That can help with the bloating process if it's very
yeah.
intense.
Yeah, that's also what the AI said. Be ready that this bloating in the beginning. Actually, a lot of people quit because of it.
Yeah.
I think you told me, but I also read it.
Yeah.
In the first 3 to 6 months, a lot of people quit because they don't expect that it actually can change.
Yeah.
So, and since you had that experience, and I had the experience super quick, then I think it's just a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
That's it. In terms of spirituality, I wanted to ask something as well. Let me see. I noticed that now I remember. We talked about how you're actually also consuming a certain frequency. So, in spirituality, we talk about karma, about, energetic imprints, traumas that are in your body. And Sadhguru says the same thing. Basically, you have to think about what emotions and what frequency, what vibrations you're consuming. And I think that has to do not only with the body itself, but it has to do with like, what do you want to attract into your life? And do you want to attract like death? And do you want to attract uh, um, aggression?
Violence.
Violence, that's the word I was looking for. Or do you want
fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And even if you were not to believe that you actually consume that, you kind of unconsciously still know it. So it's kind of like when I eat vegan, my psyche is more like in peace
Yes.
with what I eat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean, because I think that was like the biggest shift for me when I went vegan, when I decided for it, and when I started switching, was I felt such a crazy internal balance between because I was aligning myself with my values, and so that created peace and balance and harmony inside of my system, and that made me feel very light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to expect also that it takes a while if you've been eating meat for a long time, and then your body is going to get over time replenished with this new frequency, with this new energy. And so you have to be patient with that as well, because they say, for example, cells renew every 7 years. Okay, so you kind of need a transition time also energetically, because you're absorbing a new energy, which then replenishes all of the cells, etc., the frequency. So you need to give it a lot of time also.
I agree, and
Okay.
there's just one thing about cell regeneration. So
Mhm.
certain body parts regenerate cells at different speeds.
Oh yeah.
So like the mucous membrane, or I think the heart as well, like the organs and stuff like that, they renew their cells literally in, I think the turnaround rate can be even like a week or
Yeah.
something
Colon
ridiculous like
cells
that.
are 5 days, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can, I think, but like the skin might take like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of other organs inside of you renew much quicker.
Yeah. And
actually,
I
so.
think we're at the time in society where we can talk about these things, that you don't just take it from the scientific, what our current understanding of science is, but literally using your intuition and just your common sense in a way also.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, I'm taking in a soft energy with the plant food, and I'm giving it a time for the whole body to like detox in a way. It's a detox.
It is.
Yeah. And it's
on many levels, actually.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a
There's
detox.
the physical detox
The spiritual
and the emotional.
and the emotional.
That's a really big one.
Yeah.
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 A lot of people are actually not ready for that, and that's why they go back.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not ready. That's a gold pill. I call this a gold pill. Yeah, they're not ready for that.
Yeah. Because it can be super intense to, first of all, process, like when you really open your eyes to the suffering and the immensity of it, it can be really overwhelming. Like grief, horror, just fear, right? Like for me, at least, it was very, very intense to like, it was almost borderline traumatic for me to go vegan from an emotional perspective.
I just realized something
Yeah?
now that you're saying that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, once you make the choice, then you notice what you've been hiding, and suddenly you see the contrast.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone who's not vegan, or the whole industry, you suddenly become aware of it.
Yeah.
Even though you don't need to watch every day a documentary about it, you just feel it. It's
Yes,
there.
it's there in your face all day, like all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we were in the shopping mall yesterday, 2 days ago, and it was just packed with meat everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So becoming aware of like how prevalent it is, how massive of a problem it is, and then feeling a level of disconnect suddenly to these people because you are like, oh my God, I'm on the other side, and now I see it, and they don't see it, right?
Not
And
yet.
not yet.
Not
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
And then having to live also with this constant awareness of there's so much of this suffering going on all the time there, and there's not so much I can do because everyone kind of goes at their own pace, right? You can
Yeah.
only inspire.
And it feels like a drop on a very hot stone, like
Yeah.
you know, like a water drop on a hot stone. It just evaporates immediately, in the sense like this machinery is so large
Yeah.
that you feel like powerless against it almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can feel like that
Yeah.
anyways. But I know that it isn't like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Jane, what's her name? Jane
Goodall?
Goodall. Jane Goodall said every single decision counts.
Yes.
It was super important. And
It's more like a drop into an
the
ocean.
bucket. Oh, into an
Yeah.
ocean.
Like, and the ripples, like the effects that I've had throughout these 10 years of my life, or 10 years of being vegan, I mean, I'll never know how far reaching I've influenced people.
Yeah.
You know, and because the process of going vegan also is like, it's like you need like many drops in like a, you know, in a glass or something before it actually spills over.
Yeah.
Right? Like you hear a podcast here, then you meet a vegan and you're like, oh, this is a really nice vegan, actually. It's a really positive person, and you like their energy, and then you know, and then you see maybe an article, or you feel something, you make a connection with an animal, and all of those things build up eventually to you eventually going vegan.
Right.
You know, I didn't go vegan overnight.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved animals.
Yeah.
Like, I love animals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a process that can take a bit of time.
And I do believe I said this example the other day about how alcohol industry is losing revenues because young people, let's say between 18 and 30, are consuming less alcohol. So that industry is slowly collapsing. And I feel that there's much more health consciousness now and in younger people and also with Instagram and everything. And I feel that veganism can also have a spot there, that it becomes a trend where people are like becoming super conscious, and it's definitely a cultural deprogramming. Yeah.
It definitely has been.
And they work with fear because they tell you if you don't eat meat, you're gonna die, basically.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And a lot of propaganda and marketing, as we saw yesterday in the movie also,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's like, you
Game
know,
changers,
being a
yeah.
man, you know, eat your burger, be a man.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
well, there was Schwarzenegger was in that Game Changers documentary, and they were showing some older like commercials from the 80s, 90s, maybe 2000s, maybe, and it was literally like, and I remember 80s, 90s, there was a lot of like what is a man was a lot like shown in the commercials. So you smoke, you're more manly, etc. And with the meat it was the same thing. Like, if you want to be a real man, you gotta eat burgers. That was basically the commercial, and it's literally cultural programming. Yeah. Yeah. So it does. I mean, I'm a very rational, analytical person, also, but also a very spiritual person. And for me, making the switch was, or going that direction to make the switch sometime completely, is um, is is not only sensical, makes sense from the spiritual side, but also from the health side, from the vibration. I would say follow your highest harmony, and you don't get that with me. Kind of, yeah. Now, just for transparency, so I decided to basically do 5 days of vegan, 6 days of vegan, and 1 or 2 days to eat sardines. That's because of B12 and omega, right? And I wonder how you do it. So, because you said you cannot go fully vegan and not supplement, is that correct? Or
You can.
you can.
Yeah, you can go fully vegan and not supplement. I definitely know people who don't even take B12.
Okay.
Because they eat so healthy and they eat their own self-grown. You know, B12 ultimately is in the soil.
Yes, we've seen that
it's
yesterday.
not
So,
a
yeah.
it's not a vitamin. It's So because we only drink water nowadays from the tap, and we basically don't get natural sources of B12 anymore because we've depleted our soil so much, and everything is super hygienic. Like the supermarket vegetables and stuff like that are just very clean. So if you eat your own veggie garden, healthy soil stuff, then probably you get, and you don't wash everything, you just put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Probably you get enough B12.
Okay, interesting.
But across the board, of course, most of us go to the supermarket. We don't grow our own food, etc. So it's better to just take B12. Like even vegetarians and even some other people are getting B12 deficiencies. It's not a specific vegan thing.
Did we see that in the documentary yesterday? Yeah, that was like, even if you eat meat, you don't get enough B12.
Yeah.
Kind of like, so you
I
have.
mean, it's supplemented to the animals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what was in there. Yeah. So, and I remember a woman that was vegan, that she was using a syringe to put B12 into her stomach, into belly, like with the spritzer, because she couldn't absorb very well the B12 over taking it as a supplement. Yeah.
Okay.
And that was interesting. So
Yeah.
I think
That's like outlier cases, though.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, which is why I always like to recommend to people to go to a vegan doctor, because we then we make this big switch, and then we go to the standard doctor again that has no nutritional like training on vegan, no nutritional training. Actually, most doctors don't have, you know.
Oh yeah.
But then also, like, of course they're going to tell you to eat meat and et cetera, because they're still in this old programming.
They're also
and they're
programmed
eating
that way.
meat,
Yeah,
etc.
exactly.
So of course they see vegan as like a whatever, because they're not informed either. So that's why if you're serious about being vegan and making it part of your life, then go to a vegan nutritionist or a vegan doctor that can test you and that can tell you, you know, if things are coming up, if you're feeling very low energy or whatever, you can actually get it from the right informed person.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yeah. But very often, maybe just to say, like, so B12 is currently the only supplement that is recommended as an obligatory, like, that's what's recommended to take. All other supplements are not necessary. But I also like to say, like, omega-3 for me is like a, unless you're eating a lot of like algae, you know, it's, or like flax seeds, and you know, you're really putting like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, you know, unless you're eating a lot of those, I would just recommend taking omega-3 supplement from algae, because that's where the fish get it from.
Okay.
The fish get the omega-3 from the algae. Yeah.
This is actually in northern France. They started cultivating the algae there, which is kind of new, because usually you would get it from South Korea or Japan or something. And so if you can actually, I don't know if it's in the rest of Europe, but in France you can super easily get like algae, and I love to eat that. So yeah. I wanted to add also that I did eat, when I was doing a lot of bodybuilding, I did eat a lot of cheese, like cow cheese, dairy. Also had and had colon problems from it. I also had massive skin problems from cow milk when I was younger. Also from whey protein, which is basically the same thing. And from eating a lot of meat at times, I would get also problems with the colon. And when I was doing research now, I recognized that actually meat, if you only eat meat, then it blocks kind of the fermentation that creates the bacteria that are really good for your gut. And that is something that I didn't know. And so eating vegan is definitely much better for your gut. And so
yeah, you said you can even feel it now after just a couple weeks, right? And you're
Yeah.
not even doing it 100%. So,
Yeah, exactly. And I would say I can sense inflammation is going down. Like I wouldn't say it 100%, but I give it a time, because you know there's no rush. And yeah. So if you have gut problems, it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And then
Or skin problems, like dairy is very often connected to acne, or
I had massive acne problems because it has the growth hormone 1, which creates the oily skin and then clogs your pores. I didn't know that for many years. And then I was like, okay, don't drink cow milk, but I would eat cheese. And I was like, why do I have the same problem? It took me a long time to figure it out. I wish I had known this in school. And so something in Game Changers was super interesting. So they had athletes there, and in there they showed like they were drawing blood from the athletes after they ate meat, or if they were plant-based, and they put it in a centrifuge, and they looked at the forget what it's called, like the upper part of and it was super interesting because certain, like a day after eating meat, whether it was chicken or whatever, you could see that it was full of fat.
Yeah, it was like cloudy, no?
Yeah, it was
instead of clear.
And the plant place was super clear.
So even just after one
exactly
meal.
even just after one meal. So the change in your body is almost instant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
And
also why a lot of these athletes said that once they switched to vegan, it was almost like instantaneous
yeah,
shift in their energy.
yeah,
Instantaneous, like suddenly they could recover quicker. They
yeah,
had more energy to do things. More endurance and stuff like that,
yeah.
which is really impressive.
That's really
Yeah,
impressive.
how quick it can go if you actually make a choice for your health.
And you also said several times that, veganism is not veganism in the sense like if you start to eat like cookies, then which has sugar and seed oils, whatever,
Yeah,
then it's not the same vegan as if you get, a nice, banana
whole
or
foods,
whole
plant
food, yeah,
based.
plant-based,
Yeah,
etc. And so that's something that somebody has to be conscious of when they switch to veganism, that you you can't just say I just don't eat meat. You have to also be mindful of what you eat.
yeah.
Yeah, and which, yeah, so less sugar, less wheat. um
Hmm.
yeah, you don't eat much wheat, or do you?
I don't eat. I actually ate gluten free for 15 years of my life
Ah, okay.
because it was just really affecting my gut.
Yeah,
Like I just did not digest it very well.
yeah.
Um, and then, though, a couple years ago, I started eating meat again,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of playing with it a little bit.
Mm.
So if I don't overeat it,
Mm-hmm.
it's I can handle it in certain doses. But
Mm.
in general, definitely my body prefers not to eat
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
I think what is super important is, and I notice how you live when you cook, etc.
Hmm.
You make it a lifestyle, but the good thing about it is it's a very, when you get into it, it's a very enjoyable lifestyle.
Mhm.
You know, so it's kind of like even the process of selecting the food, of the way you're cooking it. There's love involved, like self love. Whereas when you get
Mm.
meat, you're just like boom, put it on the pan. And it's it there's rarely really a loving relationship with the food, I would say.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of people like chefs and stuff that are very
Ah, okay.
enthusiastic about cooking meats or dairy products or whatever,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, it's really like so one thing that's very interesting is
Hmm.
that I noticed on myself that when I went vegan, my taste buds adapted. So
Hmm.
taste buds are one of the cells that regenerate pretty quickly, I think. I'm
Hmm.
not quite sure about the
Hmm.
exact time, but right, you probably know this if you eat very sweet and then you stop eating
Hmm.
sugar for a while and
Hmm.
then you eat sugar again, it's very intense. Or you stop eating so much salt and then, salt. So actually eating all of these very high fat animal products, it blends out some of the taste levels of vegetables and fruits. So when I went vegan, I was like, oh my God, everything tastes amazing. Like vegetables and fruits started tasting more. Like I
Hmm.
could taste more. I could
Hmm.
just taste them more,
Hmm. Yeah.
which was really interesting for me. And the second thing is like ultimately, what do you want to put into your body? Like death or life?
No, yeah, yeah.
You
That's a
know?
that's a big one for me. Yeah.
And meat is like literally rotting in your intestines and it's really hard to digest and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and vegetables and fruits are just life-giving and
Yeah.
they're antioxidant, antifungal, anti-parasitic, all of these amazing, full of vitamins and just vibrant, and
Hmm.
you can sense that this energy is
Hmm.
just um, life energy, life-giving energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you have, in modern society, you have such a palette of beautiful plants and herbs that you can choose from.
yeah,
And just
yeah,
sometimes I just close my eyes and try to feel into like, what do I want to eat? You know
yeah,
what's funny? Before we met,
yeah.
I already stopped eating eggs because
Mm,
I was following that intuition, and my body just didn't want them anymore.
wow.
Yeah, it was just the taste how it ends up in the stomach. There was something about it that was like, you sometimes you eat it because it's culturally conditioned, but if you really feel into it, like intuitively, you're like, I don't really actually want to eat it sometimes. You know, there's like, I had, for example, can of sardines, and I would eat them, and I would just eat them because I know they're good for me, but I kind of didn't want to eat them. You know, not necessarily for me ethically, but I could sense my stomach doesn't want it. You know, and I wasn't processing it the way I want to. But when you, for example, cook and I eat it, I was like, yeah, give me more of it, you know? And
I think there's something I would love to say about intuition, because I think this is where, for me, it's different about. So I think a lot of people are told, oh, just listen to your body intuition. Your body will tell you what it wants and what's good for you. And I don't think that's true at all. I actually think that we're super disconnected from, we have no idea what the body actually communicates, what it actually means. And we are programmed. Like, most of us grow up programmed with eating animal products.
True.
And so for me, you know, you can have bad bacteria in your gut that literally shout at you to eat gluten, because that's what they make their nest out of.
Like candida.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like lots of different bacteria that love gluten, eggs, meat, you know, dairy and stuff like that. Like
So you kind of have to force
sugar.
yourself. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, tell me if I'm correct. So you kind of like, you have to switch the diet, accept that it's maybe not exactly 100% of what you're feeling you want to eat, with the understanding that after a while the new bacteria come in and get used to it,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
That's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
To see it that way. Yeah.
And also, I've, you know, especially in the last years, I've seen a lot of people, like ex-vegans, basically, you know, that basically go back to eating eggs, go back to eating some meat, or you know, dairy. I don't know, but yeah, that go back to eating animal products because they say, "Oh, my body was asking for it," or something like that. And I always, every time I see another video popping up like this, I always ask myself, you know, they never share anything about what their process actually was. Like, what were they actually eating? Like, were they eating healthy? Did they go to a vegan doctor or a vegan nutritionist that can test them, that can tell them where they're maybe lacking or something like that? No, they're just like, oh, I follow my intuition and my body's telling me to eat eggs, and that's what I can do. Like, I don't know. I kind of,
I get
for
it.
me, I'm like, yeah, I don't give too much weight to that, because I think if you really also do it for the animals, then you would go that extra step to go to a vegan nutritionist or whatever to check that out first, before just being like, oh yeah, I go back to eating eggs.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
When I did a fast, I did 8 days of fasting in Thailand, and that was like 5-6 years ago or something like that. So that was like in the middle of my 10 years of being vegan.
Yes.
And I was trying to heal some gut issues that I was having. I was having very strong IBS symptoms. And so I did an 8-day fast. And after the fast, I was walking on the street and I could smell meat on the street, and my body instantly like strong cravings, meat cravings coming up for me. And I knew that this is just the programming. This is the old programming of my body that's telling me, get as many high dense foods into your body, because my body literally thought it was dying for 8 days. And so I lost a lot of weight. I lost like 4 kilos.
That was water fasting.
It was juice and I think we got a coconut water, and some electrolyte, you know, like, and some, you know, parasite cleansing herbs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my body thought it was dying. literally during
Mhm.
that fast. It was very intense for my body.
Mhm.
And so, of course, what will it signal to me? It will signal to me, give me the most high dense caloric foods that you can give me, you know,
Mhm.
especially after starting to eat again, right? We know this for if you ever fasted, you know that it's that the
Refeeding.
binge
Yeah.
afterwards
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's so hard to go into healthy eating afterwards,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really just like bounce back into unhealthy eating.
Yeah.
And so for me it was really clear that this was just old programming of my
Mhm.
brain that was just of my body that was
Mhm.
saying, I need meat because you've now taken so much weight off of me and now I need to like refeed quickly, you know?
Makes sense.
So I didn't follow that impulse, of course, because I still love animals and I
Mhm.
still am aligned with that.
Mhm.
And so, yeah. So
And here
that's
you
something.
are.
Yeah, and here I am 10 years later or 5 years later.
I
Still
definitely.
vegan.
I want to add, really at this point also the thing with the butyrate,
Butyrate.
which is basically as you eat certain plant-based foods, you don't get that from meat. There happens a fermentation process where bacteria are created that then feed the colonocytes, so the colon cells. And 70% of those colon cells, no, 70% of the energy of those colon cells is being fed from these bacteria. So when you only eat meat, this is scientifically proven. When you only eat meat, this environment is actually reduced. So cells are not getting the full energy. And because we're talking about 70% of energy source for these cells. So think about just the idea, for example, that you would reduce your breathing by 20, 30, 40, 50%. You would never want to do that. You want to fully breathe.
But that's
So
people on the carnivore diet, or what kind of meat eating is
yeah,
that?
exactly. If they only eat carnivore,
Okay.
they like no beans to it,
Yeah.
etc. They actually destroy that environment in which this butyrate, butyrate,
Butyrate, I think.
butyrate,
Yeah.
is being fermented. So that was, and nobody talks about it. So that for me was a massive eye opener, and I came across it by, I don't remember exactly. I know that I put it into artificial intelligence, and I was looking like benefits, plant based, so forth, and I never seen a video where anybody talked about it. And that was for me a big change. And then suddenly came the connection to the blue zones. Whereas like the blue zones eat exactly that food, or partially that food, like the black beans, etc. So I definitely wanted to add that at this part.
Yeah.
And so many people nowadays have intestinal and colon problems, like so many people.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you want to do is give it the energy source that it wants.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get that from meat. And this is something nobody talks about. I mean, of course, if I built muscle or tendons or joints, whatever, you can maybe talk about meat. But if you're talking about colon cells specifically, which is exactly where the problems are, you have to get away from, you have to go plant-based. And
But even
yeah,
with the muscle building, I
yeah,
found that so interesting in Game
yeah,
Changers again that we
yeah,
watched yesterday.
yeah,
It was talking about the dilation of the blood flow
yeah,
to the
yeah,
right, and that basically if you eat meat or like a heavy animal-based meal, that your cell walls, like the lining there, cannot dilate as much. It will be restricted, and so it doesn't allow the blood to actually go as quickly as it needs to, which reduces your performance.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's tons of reasons to go plant-based.
And with muscle building, like it's really, I think been proven so many times that, you know, protein is literally in everything.
Yeah.
Like you find protein in every plant.
Yeah.
But of course, there are plants that have higher protein, right? Like soy and beans and stuff like that.
Hemp seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than others, like than lettuce, for example.
Yeah.
So of course, if you want to build muscle, it's just about eating enough,
Yeah.
eating enough of the right foods, like adding more of those soy products in there, and then just doing the exercise. Really, it's very simple, actually. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, one doesn't really have to overthink it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a variety of healthy foods that are not like plant seed heavy or processed or stuff like that. Because, like we said, like you were saying, you can eat vegan, but it can be very unhealthy also.
Yeah, exactly.
If you eat a very processed or with a lot of plant seeds oils that are very high in omega-6, which is inflammatory
Yeah.
for your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To close it slowly off, if I come back to spirituality, consciousness, and veganism, I have a theory about kind of manifesting your perfect life, or just having a very high harmonious kind of life, and it has to do with going higher in your frequencies. So and I call it the manifestation potential. So the highest frequency for you is self-love, which is highest harmony, following your highest harmony for your energetic body. And so what feels is highest harmony for your energetic body? And there we come to something that we spoke about shortly, but it's like if you do something which is, even if it's deep down, incongruent to your inner state, it's like and two energy strings pulling against each other in different directions, and this friction of pulling in different directions costs you energy. You know what I mean? So by really being congruent to your inner core, almost soul or being on the level of beingness, if you are congruent to it and authentic, then you don't have these strings which pull in different directions, so you don't lose energy. It's kind of like, and then when you're in that authenticity, your body frequency is higher, and as it's higher, you enter more into what I call the manifestation potential. Meaning, if you stop fighting against yourself, then the potentiality of things happening, more of that, like higher harmony, self-love, enjoying life, is augmented, is increased. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? So basically, by choosing to go plant-based, if it feels to you that it's a high frequency, that you feel there's no conflict within you, you're actually setting energy free that before you've been losing, even if unconsciously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't want to have two conflicting beliefs in you. And while you superficially, you could say, yeah, meat gives me power and so forth, unconsciously, you know that you're actually doing something which is not really with your highest frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would add to that I think deep down in our heart, we are actually vegan. Like if you go on the love frequency, really opening your heart to it, like we're vegan. Like
100%.
we love animals. We love ourselves. We love animals. We love plants. We love beauty. We love harmony. We love,
Yeah.
like that's ultimately, so I think even if you think you need to eat meat for, oh, it's giving me energy or it's giving me whatever, or I would agree that it's going against the deeper layer of your heart knowing.
Yes. Heart
You know?
knowing is a good word.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I also, I guess, want to share with my music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about your music soon enough as well.
Yeah.
You're gonna
It's
have
very exciting.
you're gonna have a concert very soon.
Yes, in 1 month.
In
Our
one
debut.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to announce it? We can do it
It's very scary for me because
Yeah?
it's like songs that I wrote that came through my soul. You know,
Ah,
like
yeah.
they're very personal, of course. They're very coming from my heart energy. And so sharing them for the first time with the world is going to be really exciting, but also nerve-wracking. And yeah, we're gonna do it at the gig is at a vegan festival called Fava.
Here in Portugal.
Here in Portugal, in Lule.
Okay, very
in 1
nice.
month.
Yeah, congratulations to
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. So thank you, Milo, very much for me having you as a guest here, and we'll definitely talk about it more in the future as well.
Yeah. And I'd be curious to hear what people have, if people have questions or something like that, you know, if some things are coming up.
Yeah. And what benefits you've had from plant-based, if somebody wants to comment, like, and they've already been plant-based for a while, what benefits they had, because then people can see, okay, this is yeah. And I'll definitely talk about it more. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
God, I hope it was recording.
Oh, Moment. Stop.